Hey guys, it is Tyra here. This video has been a long time coming and I'm so sorry it's been so long, but last year was so hectic for me. If you have been following me on Instagram, you know pretty much all the things that I went through last year, and of course if you watched the first video of my 100-kilometer walk vlog, part 1, I was meaning to make this video part 2 shortly after my walk so that everything was fresh in my mind. But I had a few hurdles along the way, including my last phone didn't record sound very well, like it drops out very easily. You'll notice that in my last video that I just posted, the 18-minute long video of my dad shaving my head, which was a really beautiful experience. Happened just over a year ago now, during Chinese New Year. May he rest in peace. So yeah, that was another thing that I went through last year. I lost my father. I went through a lot of relationship changes with partners, with friends, with family, obviously, and work and whatnot. And I'm ready. I'm ready to come back on this platform. It's been calling to me so badly. And I know I've made this video a few times where I'm like, I'm gonna be back to making videos, but I'm 100% serious this time. I'm meant to be in front of a camera, not behind it. And I love connecting with you guys through this platform, through Instagram. I'm gonna be starting up a TikTok where I'm gonna be singing, getting really into my music, and I'll be sharing that here as well as Instagram. But that's just a little intro. I know this video, I wanted to really focus on my 100-kilometer walk that I did last year. I really wanted to make this video very structured and answer specific questions that you all had for me, but to be honest, I'm just going to go with the flow and go with how I feel. I think that's the best way I can do this. To be honest, I still can't believe I did that walk. To some people, it might not be a lot. To some people, it might have been crazy. And a lot of people said I was crazy to do it, especially by myself, as a woman, a young woman. But nothing bad happened to me on that trip in terms of like interactions. If anything, people were super supportive. Strangers were passing by me, asking me questions. Even those that didn't ask what I was doing, they would give me a thumbs up. It was such a beautiful experience. And honestly, I sometimes feel like it didn't even happen. Like it's just like a fever dream to me. Like it's such a blur, but I know I did. I mean, I filmed the whole thing, you know. If you haven't filmed it, it didn't really happen, right? It went by so quickly, yet so slowly at the same time, especially those very, very hard moments. If you watch the video, you'll know that when I was in my second night in the tent, I was freezing and I could not warm up. I had a hot water bottle, I had thermoware, I did everything. I put so many layers and I was still so cold. And one, obviously my body was really tired from walking so much. I think the walking was fine. Like I'm very fit, but I wasn't used to having such a heavy bag on my back. Like I was holding all my gear, food, water, and whatnot. So it was having that extra weight on me, and it perplexes me that it must be really hard sometimes, you know, living in a larger body as well. I see those like struggling to move and whatnot. I'm not trying to body shame, but I'm just saying that if you have excess weight, it would be a lot on your body, and having that feeling as well was just like, wow, very interesting, quite eye-opening in that sense. And also just eye-opening in a sense that a lot of people do very laborious work, and I can't, like, kudos to people that have to carry large things for long amounts of time for their work, or to get water, or to get food. Like, it is not an easy feat. And especially on this walk as well, I saw a lot of people that looked like me in the sense that they were having, you know, they were walking with backpacks on, but they were homeless. And it was just so sad. Like I was doing this walk out of privilege, complete privilege. And I'm very aware of that. I'm very grateful for that. And it was very sad for me to see that. And the homeless situation in Australia it's pretty bad. I mean, it's really bad everywhere in the world, but it's getting worse here. And it's very, very evident, and something needs to change. Now, before I go on another tangent, why did I do this walk? And why did it have to be 100 kilometers? Why did it start from the Gold Coast to Byron Bay? What is the significance of all of this? the main reason I did this walk was for my father and for myself as well. So when my father was, I wasn't born yet, my brother was born. When my father, I think he must have been in his early 30s, he did the Maclehose Trail in Hong Kong, which is a 100-kilometer walk. It's much harder than what I did. It's up and down and all around, whereas mine was mostly flat. And he did it all in one go. I think it took him about 26 to 29 hours, and he did it in a team of 4. And I still have the book, the Trail Walker book, and I'll put it up on screen because it's really, really cute. It's a picture of my dad in dressing up as a well, he is a chef. He was a chef, with all his team, with a cow, and them getting ready for the race. It was really cute, and it just amazed me that my father had that much strength and will. It's really psychological. You can be the fittest person. And it was really interesting because in that group of 4 of them, the fittest person actually was the one that wanted to give up at the end and had collapsed, because it's all about the mental, not just the physical. And I was really tested mentally on this walk. I think it was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, physically and mentally. But then again, going through all the traumatic experiences with my dad and trying to quarantine and taking care of him and his cancer, and multiple times where I thought he was going to die, was pretty terrible as well. That being said, I don't regret it at all. Like, I wanted to be mentally challenged. That's why I did it. I knew it was not going to be easy. I'm not just like here complaining like, oh God, it was so hard. Like, I put it on myself. Like, I knew it was going to be hard. And it made me so strong. And that walk must have made my dad so strong. And he did it all in one go. Like, they did not stop. They did not sleep and whatnot. I did it over 3 days of walking. And I actually wish that I had done it a little bit longer. Only reason I did it shorter because I wasn't wanting to take that much time off of work. And also, yeah, actually that was pretty much the only reason. I should have taken at least an extra day. Like, come on, Tyra. And I remember going back into clinic and I literally couldn't like walk. Like, I was limping. It was just so funny. It was so funny. And I like that I can look back and laugh at it now, which is good. What was I saying? Yes, one of the reasons I wish it was also longer, not just so that I would have shorter walking days, like I could do like 10 kilometers a day. That would be so much easier than what I was doing, which was like 25 to 35 kilometer days. Is that so I could actually enjoy each place I was going. I was going through beautiful places: King's Cliff, Wuyong, Cabarita, Kasarina, Byron Bay, obviously, Taigara. It was so, so beautiful. And all these little cute towns, Pottsville, for example, and also just Cabarita Beach, that town there. I didn't have time to actually go into the cafes, go into the local stores and explore, because I was on a mission. I was like, if I stop now, like, I had designated breaks and I planned it all out, but I was actually running behind time, which is okay. But then again, even on my first night, the sun set and I still had 10 kilometers to go, and I had expected to be already back I had expected to already be at King's Cliff, but I wasn't, and it was stressing me out. I remember crying and feeling so alone, and it just made me reflect a lot, which was really good to just be by myself. And that's why I wanted to do it by myself, because I needed some time to think about my life, think about what I wanted, think about my relationships, all those kind of things. So would I do this walk again? A lot of people ask me. Not the specific walk I would do again, but I would definitely want to maybe just take transport to Cabarita and then do the Cabarita to Byron Bay walk and stop along the way. I really loved Wuyong National Park, where I stayed. The campsite was beautiful, had really, really good facilities. And again, I didn't get to enjoy it because I was in pain and I was freezing. So I would definitely go back. Another question I got a lot was, did I ever want to give up? And what was the hardest part? Filmed was definitely that part. Oh gosh, there was a lot of times where I was like wanting to break down and just wanting to cry, and where I did cry. I cried the first night when I was walking alone in the dark. I cried and I cry a lot. I'm a sensitive person. I don't know what it is, but it's a good release. I think crying is good. Not too much, but crying is good. Then in the tent, I really wanted to give up. I had a friend in the Gold Coast, and he was like, Tyra, if you need help, like, just call me and I'll pick you up. And I was so close to calling him. I was like, there's two things that are gonna happen. I'm either gonna go home, get picked up by my friend, or I'm gonna walk and finish my walk until Byron Bay, but I am not camping. I'm not camping in Byron Bay. I'm going to book myself a nice hotel. And that's what I ended up doing. And thank you, Mom, for booking that. Well, not booking that for me. She paid it for me. Because she was like, Tyra, I'm really worried about you. She said she couldn't sleep for the three nights that I was out. Bless her. I feel so sorry. And it was so funny because by the end of it, I took the train, so I took the bus home from Byron Bay back to Brisbane on the Greyhound bus, and then I missed my train because I was so tired, and then I took the next train, and it was really meant to be because when I got off that train, my stepbrother was on that train, and he saw me, and I had no energy. I couldn't even speak. I was like, and he looked at me, and he thought I was a homeless person, and then he was really scared. And he was with his friend, and then he had to spend like 10 minutes afterwards like explaining to his friend that I'm not homeless and that I was doing this crazy walk. It was so funny. Not the homeless thing, but just like the interaction. I was just like I was like a zombie, like I couldn't speak. And I had like 1% left on my phone. I was like, quickly come, let's take a photo so we can send it to our parents. And that was really cute. So yeah, I ended up finishing the walk and I couldn't sleep that night. I didn't sleep at all. So I packed up my stuff at 3 a.m. I started walking at 4 a.m. and it was the most surreal experience of my life. It was, oh my gosh. I felt like I was in a horror film, but it was so like fun. It's so weird, right? Like I still felt really safe. I was walking on the beach. I started walking on the Wuyong beach. It was pitch black. I could not see anything. All I could hear were the waves coming up on my left side, and I could see the stars and the Byron Bay lighthouse just turning, and that was the only thing keeping me sane, to be honest. And that's why I got the Byron Bay lighthouse tattooed on my arm, going all around doing a band, because that light was the only thing that was keeping me going at that moment, to be honest. I was like, I'm so done. I forgot which one was which, but one of my hamstrings gave out and my other calf gave out, and it was so painful. Like I was limping all the way to the end, but I was like, I'm not gonna give up. And that was another reason I did this walk. I believe that if I could do this walk, I could do anything. Like I had the persistence, and I was so proud of myself. And it's so fun. I've always wanted to just do something by myself. Like I had just come out of a relationship and I felt like I was becoming this like, I wanted to be a strong, independent woman. I wanted to be like, I can set up my own tent, I can do this, I can do that, I could just do it myself. Even like this thing. So sorry, everything behind me is really empty because I'm moving soon, so I took down all this. It was really aesthetic. But like for example, this bookcase here, it's the first thing I've ever built in my life. Like I was so spoiled growing up. Like everything was always done for me, and I couldn't build anything to save my life, even IKEA stuff. So this is an example of my independence, and same with the walk as well, which is really funny. So yeah, it was the most surreal experience, literally walking in pitch black, and I was so tired, and I remember just walking with my flashlight on my head and my scarf and everything. I'll put a photo up, and just looking down, and I wasn't walking straight because I didn't know I was walking. So I would walk, and then eventually I would realize I was walking on an angle and I was walking towards the water, and then the waves would come up and I'd be like, oh! So then I'd walk, like skittle to the side, and then I'd do the same thing, and then I'd skittle to the side and do this. It was just so funny. And then I saw the sun rise, and it was just so beautiful. I still have this very vivid memory of seeing the sunrise and this son and this mother standing on the beach, and it was so beautiful, and it just reminds me of how important family is. Another thing I love about this walk was because I was burning so many calories, I was eating double portions everywhere I went. It was great. I love food. And I still remember when I got to Byron Bay, all I was craving this whole walk was bread. I just wanted bread. I wanted bagels, I wanted sandwiches, I wanted pizzas, pancakes, burritos, all the things. And I just wanted a really nice pizza when I got to Byron Bay. So I ended up going to this restaurant, and it was so funny because when I arrived there, the guy was like, oh, what would you like to order? And I was like, okay, I'll have this pizza and this pizza. And he looked at me, he's like, you're gonna have 2 pizzas to yourself. And I said, mate, I just walked 100 kilometers to eat your pizza. Do not judge me. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna be giving you double the amount of money than you would normally get. I'm like, why are you questioning me? Just give me my pizza. And everything tasted really good because I was really hungry. Yeah, the pizza was yummy. And oh my God, when I took a shower and I had the cold, soft linen, I was just like, yes, so nice. So nice. And it did rain that night, so I'm really lucky I actually didn't go camping, because the last thing I wanted to do was set up my tent and take it down and blah, 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 blah. Another hard part of it was the last day when I was walking through Taigara Natural Reserve. It is literally 3 hours of straight nothing. Not nothing, but it's like a forest. And there was no one there. I was literally the only one walking through. And then at the end of it is the nude beach, which is hilarious. So I had to walk through the nude beach, and I felt like so out of place because I was the only one with clothes on. And I actually really just wanted to drop my bag, take off my clothes and jump into the water. But I was like, I have 2 kilometers left. I'm just gonna walk and get a sandwich, which I did. It was yummy. I'll go back to that nude beach. I think it's so fun. And that's another reason. Okay, so why Gold Coast to Byron Bay? My brother's godparents, well, I call them my godparents because I'm closer to them. Anyway, they live in Gold Coast, and Gold Coast was the first place that I traveled to out of Asia. When I was younger, I went there when I was 4 years old, and I used to always visit. And obviously, I came here for university, and I was always fascinated by how long the beaches were in Gold Coast. Like, it's literally 42 kilometers, like a marathon's length. So I always told myself that I would run it or I would walk it. And then I was like, why do I want to just stop there? If I extend it all the way to Byron Bay, it'll be 100 kilometers exactly, which I was all like, And then Byron Bay was the first place that I did a solo trip in Australia. So it's always been really special to me. It's a very spiritual place, lots of crystals, lots of beautiful people, vegan food and whatnot. So, and I know there's all these little towns in between, and I feel like walking is the best way to explore. Whenever I travel, I tend to just walk. When I was in Nepal, we didn't take any public transport, any cars. We just walked through everywhere. Like, we would walk through from the city of Kathmandu 5 kilometers out to go visit the temples, and we'd walk through the slums and the markets, and we get to really see the locals and how they live and really experience it. So I wanted to do something similar in that sense. Also, I don't have a driver's license, so walking is the best way to go. And again, I just wanted to do something independent and try it out and see if it's something that I could do for a bigger trip. And I definitely could, but again, shorter walking days, at least like just 10-kilometer days, something short and sweet. Anyways, I think that's everything I wanted to say. It was definitely one of the best moments of my life, doing that walk. Every moment was so beautiful and so challenging and so mesmerizing, and I grew a lot from it. And thank you, Dad, for inspiring me. I would call him during the walk. And at that point, he had already been deteriorating. And if you don't know, he had stage 4 brain cancer, so he was losing his memory and losing his personality and losing everything. And he lived in China, so he lived quite far away, and it's a bit hard to get into China, if you didn't know. Anyway, I'd call him every day, and just to update him and everything. And I mean, not just during the walk, just every day in general, since his diagnosis. Before then, I would just talk to him maybe once a week. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, every day he would always ask me, who are you walking with? Blah, 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 blah. What are you doing it for? Like, what charity and everything? I said, Dad, I'm just doing it by myself for myself. And he'd be like, oh, okay. And then the next day he's like, oh, who are you walking with again? And that was the moment. I guess it's a good thing that I did that walk too. And that was when I realized, like, I need to go back to China. And then a month later I did. He almost died. Thank God I was there. because if he was, I mean, if I wasn't, I don't think he would have lived a little bit longer. And then in October he passed. But I love you, Dad. Thank you for everything, and thank you for inspiring me to do this walk. And with his passing, sorry, that was another reason that I wanted to do it. When he got cancer, terminal cancer, I was like, life's too short. Do what you want to do. Shave your head, go for the walk, pursue your dreams, whatever you or I or anything. Because he didn't get to pursue his dreams, and I want to pursue it for him. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, more videos to come. I love you all.